Well, welcome back, everyone. We have Jerry Pitts here. He's a Lima attorney, and we're going to be discussing a little bit about affirmative action and the right to carry. Well, welcome, Jerry. It's a pleasure to have you
Thanks for
here
having
with us
me.
today.
Well, the whole thing the racial biases and affirmative action and all these things, since 1965, we thought we was going to go forward.
Going forward.
But we're actually going backwards now, because now even if you take affirmative action, they're saying it cannot be used in any form as for admissions into colleges and universities and those situations. Well, it's going to float over into employment. It's going to also float into the idea of not having set-asides. Also, what we're doing is we're coming up with all these new laws. Well, not new laws, we're changing old laws.
Right.
Now we're saying that before you could have any kind of form of identification to vote, now they're saying you got to have a state ID, of a particular ID, so you can vote. Polling places are changing. So we're headed towards situations that are knocking affirmative action 100 miles backwards.
Right.
Also, what we're getting into, which has become real scary, is that we're looking at our new gun laws, and we're saying the right to carry, stand your ground, those kinds of situations, what makes it fearful for people to even try to communicate and deal with each other for the fear that it may be misunderstood and someone could get injured from those situations. And it seems like instead of the country coming together more, we're coming with more legislation that ultimately is hurting how we are doing business anymore. And what people don't understand, if everybody ain't happy, then it's going to be difficult for everybody to be happy. What happens is we'll often have those examples, Michael Jordan and those kinds of, Oprah, those are situations, but that is not the norm.
Right.
What is happening is a lot of people are going homeless, a lot of people are going without food, and those are issues that are still there. Plus, we're still having inequalities as far as employment and employment opportunities. So all these things are coming together, and we're not even looking at our legislators saying, hey, what you guys are doing? You're creating legislation that's taking us further back than we were before.
Now, I will say that I'm not too familiar with all the laws, and I was a singer, by the way.
But you sound like you're a good singer too.
But with the right to carry, are there any things the restrictions or here in Ohio?
There should have been more, but now when they put in there that you don't even need a permit anymore, you can just, as long as you have that supposedly right to carry, then you can carry. And you don't have to go through the testing. There's no psychological evaluations. And then with stand your ground, standing there, and you have the right to carry, and you feel, it didn't say you have to be intimidated. If you feel intimidated,
right,
or you feel like you're in fear, then it gives you an opening to use more force than what should be necessary. And that's what's a scary thing. It's dangerous for at night if you have gotten lost and your GPS is not working.
Right, maybe your cell phone died or
and
something.
you go knock on someone's door, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
But lots of times people don't open their door, but you remember, I don't know if you remember the case where the guy did open his door and did use his weapon, and even though he claimed he was afraid.
Right.
So we got all these things we got to look at, and I think we're going to have to take another look at all this legislation.
Now, I know that I was talking about the restrictions. I think you have to be 21 to...
Well, that has been an issue, but that's going to soon go, because they're saying if you're 18 and go into service, why can't you be 18 and have a gun when you're going to get a gun when you go into service? So that's going to be gone real soon.
Is there certain kinds of guns that are restricted, or is it just
they say
anything goes?
You shouldn't be trying to use those guns that spray the whole community, but it's like anything goes.
Yeah, and what about, let's say, felons? Are they allowed to?
Well, felons are technically not allowed to, but you'll probably find more felons out there got guns than anybody else. So, well, as long as there's guns out there improperly, a lot of people who shouldn't have a gun is going to have one anyway.
That's true. That is very true. Jerry, do you have anything else that you would like to share with us today about your knowledge on the subjects?
Oh, for sure, for sure. That's why I was saying, when another thing that's going on is in our department stores and other places of that nature. For some strange reasons, more minorities are followed from the time they enter the door until they leave. And they're saying 60% of minorities are being treated like that. Now, this is a new day.
Right.
I mean, we can't walk in a department store and do some shopping without being treated as if you're going to steal something.
Right, it's a stereotype, right?
But yes, and the same thing that happened, I don't know if you remember, with Starbucks. Starbucks, instead of appreciating the business, wouldn't let minorities use the bathroom.
Huh.
Now, that has been that's been in recent years.
Huh.
And we're also dealt with Papa John's and his statements that he made as towards minorities. These are open statements being made by public figures that has taken us a lot of steps backwards. We've got to be addressing things a little bit more, especially in these days and times. We should be more together than ever before.
Right, just treat everybody like the golden rule, you know, treat everybody how you would like to be treated. I agree, you know, it's like, so hopefully everyone can like kind of take a step back a little bit.
Now, some people don't care how they treat it. I don't want them treating me like that. So, let's keep that in frame. All right.
That's true. That is very true. Well, Jerry, I really appreciate you coming out today. And Jerry is a Lima attorney, and you're here and you celebrate the knowledge that you give to all of our viewers. So I thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have medical news coming up next.